Hello, and welcome to LegalTech. In today's video, I'm going to be spending some time talking about Lawcus's latest feature, which is Nova AI. If you're not familiar with Lawcus is a practice management system that allows attorneys and law firms alike to be able to add, track, and convert leads all through the platform, as well as a bunch of other amazing features. If you want more details on some of those features, definitely feel free to check out one of our videos that covers them in more depth. So, Nova AI. Nova AI allows attorneys and law firms to be able to craft beautiful emails with the help of artificial intelligence. In this video, I'm going to be covering 1. How Nova AI compares to other AI technology that's currently on the market. 2. The pros and cons of utilizing Nova AI. 3. My personal experience using Nova AI. And 4. A walkthrough, because let's just face it, I can't end any of these videos without giving you a walkthrough and some examples of how these programs are used, and the Nova AI feature inside of Lawcus is no different. So let's go ahead and jump right into how Nova AI compares to some other artificial intelligence technology on the market today. Alright, Legal Mastermind. So my very first impression of the Nova AI feature is that it reminds me of RightSeed. And the reason why I say this is because in RightSeed, you have the ability to give the email a tone, and I noticed that that was one of the things that you can do inside of Nova AI right out the gate, is that you can have the ability to give it a tone in which you can tell it whether you want it to be friendly, or you want it to be professional, or you want to use one of the other options that's accessible to you there. Another thing that I noticed is that there's a little bit of commonality with ChatGPT, and the reason why I say that is because you do have the ability to tell the prompt how many characters that you want it to be, and I'm sure that a lot of the other AI technology that's out there kind of has that too, but I love that it also gives you the ability to have like that the character thing in which it gives you like the first name of the person, or you can use that custom field in order to have the email already have that person's name. It already gives you that right inside of the template email that it's actually setting up, and I found that to be really cool and really helpful, which honestly, funny enough, leads me right into the pros and cons of utilizing the Nova AI feature inside of Lawcus. First pro that I would say is that you have the ability to use Nova AI not only for emails, you can also use it for secure messages, text messages, and even phone logs. So if you're working on a phone log and you're trying to find a proper way to just tee up that phone log so that it looks proper, you can utilize the Nova AI feature, and it will help you right out the gate set that up without having any issues with it. And that's one thing that I really, really liked. And if didn't say this already, I'm saying it again. I really like the feature that it gives you the ability to use it in not only for emails, but also for other areas inside of the Lawcus platform as well. Because let's face it, sometimes you're working on crafting a email inside of an automation, or you're sending out a text message through a workflow, and you're trying to make sure that you say the proper thing, and you want to make sure that it's not too long, and all you need to do is just use the Nova AI feature. If you kind of know in advance what you're going to use it for with the workflow, you can set up that template and then have it populate right inside of the workflow. And I'll show you really quickly inside of the walkthrough when we get to that point, but that was something that I did like about the Nova AI feature. Another thing that I like about the Nova AI feature, that's another pro to me, is that it has a simple use and doesn't have too much unnecessary information. What I mean by this is oftentimes you get lost in the sauce with some of these AI technology programs, and with Nova AI, it's simple, it's right to the point, and there's not a lot of things that are distracting you. I also found that to be a pro. Another pro that I found utilizing the Nova AI feature is how easily you can regenerate an email if you don't like the email that Nova AI crafts. And this is not just for email. So honestly, any prompt that you craft inside of Nova AI, if you don't like it, you can easily regenerate it, and then it crafts and curates a different kind of email for you. Another thing that I also like is you don't have to come outside of the platform and go to ChatGPT or RightSeed or OpenAI or any of those other programs. It's all embedded within the system, and it gives you just ease to just quickly move into the next thing. Another thing is that you aren't required to use a tone, and you can craft it any kind of way that you want, and you don't have to necessarily use the tone. And oftentimes I don't really know how I want my message to come off or sound, and I'm just trying to get started. And then once I have the information kind of already there, then I'll think about, okay, well, do I want it to sound more professional? Do I want it to sound more friendly? Do I want it to sound, more intuitive? Do I want it to be chipper? Like what tone am I going for? And I don't always know that. And I like that the people at Lawcus really thought about that and didn't make that a requirement. Unfortunately, there are some cons, so I'm gonna get into it so that way it's not just making it seem like I have all these amazing things I love about it. There are a few cons that I think that they could work through as well, and I would say that one of those cons is that it does take a little while for it to generate the prompt, right? So whenever you hit generate, it takes a little bit of time to bring up that information, and that is a drawback as opposed to like another program like ChatGPT. As soon as you put the prompt in, it starts crafting the email like boom, 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 really fast. And there is a little bit of a delay there with that. And I tried using, different ways. Maybe I tried to make it a little bit shorter to see if it could speed up that time. And that was a con that I didn't really like. And it makes it problematic for attorneys and legal support staff that are in a rush and trying to get things moving relatively quickly because there is that little bit of a delay there. I will also say that another con is that it doesn't show up when you're creating an email for a signature, when you're sending a signature template out. So inside of Lawcus you have the ability to send a document out for signature through the automations panel. And unfortunately, the Nova AI feature doesn't populate when you're trying to generate a message to be able to send something out for signature. And that was one thing that I didn't like. Another con that I found is that you can't modify the tone or fix the grammar and spelling until after the email or the prompt is generated, and then you would need to regenerate it. So there's not really a way to just set up the tone to modify the tone or have it check for grammar and spelling issues through the first round. Once it's finished, then you would need to regenerate it to be able to have it make those changes, whether it's change a tone, whether it's, check for spelling or whatever. It does that after the fact. And that was one thing I didn't really like. And also speaking on the tone, another thing that I found to be quite interesting with the Nova AI feature as well is that you don't have the option to revise it to many tones once you've generated that email. It's like you have to start all over again. And I keep saying email, but I really just mean prompt. You don't have the ability to choose too many options once the message has been created. You would have to then craft a new message and pick a different tone. It doesn't give you that many options for tone. So that's one thing that I didn't really care for. I wish that they gave you the same set of options when you're regenerating to pick the tones as you are when you're setting up the message and the prompt right out the gate. Those are my cons when it comes to the Nova AI feature. All right, so I touched on this very lightly earlier on, and I'm just going to spend a little bit more time talking about my own experience utilizing the Nova AI feature. And I would say that I could see myself using this on a regular basis because there are times where I want to make sure that I'm doing I need a little bit of help. I've crafted a message and I want it to have a certain kind of tone, and I could see myself utilizing it the most for that. If I'm working on something for one of my clients and I'm trying to help them come up with different options and templates for their CRM system, and if they're utilizing the Lawcus platform, I could see myself utilizing the Nova AI feature to help them come up with some templates, whether it's templates to send emails to clients or new leads, whether it's for templates to be set up for sending out invoices to clients, whether it's trying to aid them in sending out a follow-up message to a particular client for a intake form that needs to be completed, or I want to send them a text message or a secure message, or we're doing some kind of series of emails. It's like a walkthrough or welcome series email, or it's a new lead nurturing sequence email, and we want to have a little bit more of a friendly tone, and we're not really sure, we're reaching a roadblock. I could see myself utilizing Nova AI for that. So I like that it's there as a feature. I love that it's embedded inside of the Lawcus system. I really, truly, I think that that's like my biggest love, is that you don't have to come out of the platform to be able to craft a message, a secure message or a text message or whatever the case is. You can use the system for that. I know I said that a couple of times, but I would say that that's my biggest pro. And I noticed that that was one of the things that kept circling back to me while I was working on coming up with this video. It was the fact that it's right there inside of the system, and you're not going to ChatGPT, you're not going to WriteC, you're not going to another program to have to craft it and then go right back into Lawcus to then assembly and put it together. So the final piece of the puzzle, the walkthrough. My favorite part, because I love showing people how to use these systems and how to make things work. So let's go ahead and jump right into the walkthrough. Okay, so jumping right into Lawcus, right? And I want to cover the first thing that I spent some time talking about, which is sending an email. And we can do that easily by just clicking on send email under any of the leads or matters or whatever inside of the system. And I'm just going to take out my selected template so that it's completely blank, and then I'm going to click on write using Nova AI. Now from here I can draft the email, and then I can tell it whatever I want. And what I was talking about before, but the tones, these are the tones here. There's quite a few of them: friendly, humorous, professional, inspirational. Yeah, you see them all. Now I want to ask him a clarifying question about something he put inside of an intake form, and I'm just going to have Nova AI help me with that, right? And because I really want this to come off as a not, I would say that I don't want it to be straightforward. I would honestly prefer that this email comes off a little bit more casual or friendly. So I would honestly select one of these, either the casual or the friendly option. I'm going to see what it does when I pick casual, and I'm going to have it generate. And this was one of the things that I didn't really like, but we'll see how long it takes here. Okay, so here it is. It crafted the email, and it's actually not too bad. It gives us the person's name already, so we don't have to worry about using the custom field for that. And that's one of the things that I was telling you that I really liked about this, is that it gives you the ability to input the person's name. And let's say, for example, you wanted to take maybe the last name out. You can say dear, and then just the first name. You can dear and then take out the last name, and you could do that once you go ahead and you insert it. But this I am going to leave, and I'm going to go ahead and insert it here. Now I can take out the last name and just have the first name. And if I didn't want to say dear, obviously, we can change it to hi. And everything else here looks pretty all right. And it covers the question very clearly. And the one other thing that I would say that I didn't cover as a con, that I do find to be a little bit of a con, is that it doesn't give us a subject. I kind of wish it gave us a subject in addition to the body of the email, or the body of the message itself. It gave us a subject, because if we were utilizing a program like ChatGPT, it always gives us a subject. It doesn't only give us the body of the message. And if we're trying to move quickly, we just want to have everything easily accessible and not do too much work. So I wish it did have that. But for this, I would just honestly clarifying your intake form responses. And that would be it. And this would be an email that I can go ahead and send out without any issue. And I would probably use this because this was a pretty good one. Now that I've showed you how to compose an email, I'm going to show you how to use it to create a template, which is honestly very similar to this. We're just going to do it in a different space. So let me jump right over to that really quickly. All right, so when we're in email templates, we can easily just create a new email template. And for this example, I'm just going to use a new text template because it's going to be the easiest. And then we can go ahead and select write using AI, just like we did previously. And we can use the same prompt, or I can pick something different, and I can say that we're trying to create a welcome email for this example. Now, since this is a welcome email, I definitely want it to come off friendly, so I'm going to select friendly as a tone, and then I am going to do generate. Once the email template is generated, I'm actually also going to show you what it looks like if you were going to regenerate the email as well, so that you can kind of see what that looks like. So here you see it. This is slightly different than the other example because in the other example, we already had the Matter client already pre-populated. And this one, since it's a template email, we don't actually have that information already accessible to us. So it gives you the amazing custom field here so that it takes the guesswork out of you doing that. In addition to that, it also gives you the ability to add in a team member if there's someone on the team specifically that's going to be responsible for communicating with this client once they fill out the intake form. In addition to that, it also has the username and the team name for you to be able to make sure that if you're the one that's sending this out, or whatever user is sending it out with inside of the Lawcus system, it picks up that user as the username here, and then the team name depending on what team name you have set up inside of your version of Lawcus. What I really love though is that it has the embedded option here. So I told the prompt that I want to embed a link to complete the intake form, and here it is already here for us, and we don't have to worry about then trying to do that on our own. All we need to do is add in that link and make it a hyperlink, and it's ready to go. If I didn't like this email though and I wanted to change it to something else, I'm first going to copy this so that I have it, but I can also say that I want to regenerate that email. And by regenerating the email, it's going to give us something a little bit different this time around. And you'll see that the email now has changed to something slightly different. In order to see this, we can go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and insert it. And then on top of inserting it, I'm going to paste the previous one that showed up before. So as you see in the one that was originally there, it had that the intake form is going to take about 15 to 20 minutes. But in the new one, it doesn't have that information. Additionally, at the end, it says, I'm excited to work with you. And then it has sincerely. And in the other one, the one that it first generated, it was slightly different. It said that we look forward to working with you, but please do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions along the way. They're very different in tone and delivery. Same email to the same person, utilizing the same prompt, but both emails are set up to be slightly different. You'll also see that once you hit write using AI again, it brings up the two that were here before, and then you have the option to rephrase the text, to expand the text, and also to fix any grammar or spelling errors. So if you're wondering where you would find that, once you insert the message, you then have the option to change that message. So you have the option to change it and make it friendly, or revise the friendly one. And you see that the second one was more formal. It didn't actually use the friendly prompt that I gave it in the beginning. It changed it to be formal. And you can revise it, or you can rephrase the text. So you can have it rephrase the text and then change it to something different. And if you don't like that, you actually don't have to use that, but once it comes up, you'll see it then rephrase it to something else. And let's say that we inserted this one. You'll see that the other two went away and it rephrased it. And if you went ahead and you select write using AI, you see that you have the ability to expand that text. Expanding it just makes it longer. And so it's going to be a longer email as opposed to the email that was just there that you're looking at right now. It's going to then change it to be something a little bit longer than that. And now you'll see that here it is. It gave you a different kind of email. It's telling you welcome to the company, and it's a little bit longer. And now if this was something that you wanted to use, you can go ahead and insert that. Fixing grammar and spelling. You can have it fix any grammar and spelling that it finds inside of the system by selecting that fixing grammar and spelling you saw me just do there. And now it's brought up a different email. Well, actually, it's the same email, but then it fixed any type of spelling or grammatical errors that might have come through when you generated the email in the first place. And then you can go ahead and hit insert. Like I said, it doesn't give you the option to do a subject line or a template name. So you're going to want to make sure that you go ahead and set those two things up. And then I would go ahead and hit save. And there we have it. We've went ahead and we created a welcome email right inside of the Lawcus platform utilizing the AI. So I touched on this while I was doing the pros and cons earlier on, and I just wanted to show you here inside of the system as well. And that's just going to be how to use the Nova AI feature for secure messages as well. So once you're inside of Matter, you're just going to go ahead and hit secure message. And once you've gone ahead and you selected secure message, you can then go ahead and hit write using AI. And it's going to bring up the same option to draft a new email. And then you're going to bring up the prompt and tell exactly what you want it to craft. After you've selected that, you'll then, if you want to use a tone, you'll select the tone. But for this example, I'm not going to use a tone because I do want you to see how it works if you don't select a tone. I've inserted the prompt, right? And so now I'm just going to go ahead and hit generate. And mind you, I did not select a tone for this example. I didn't select the tone here. Okay, so look. For this one, it gave us a subject. It gave us a subject for this one. So we have everything that we need, and we're going to go ahead and hit insert. And now that we have this, we can then go ahead and say clarification needed on intake form. We'll go ahead and copy that, paste that up there. Now from here, you can hit who you want it to go to, and if your client actually has access to the client portal, they will pop up here. So if your client was in here, they would be here under client users. I just wanted you to see what it would look like if you want to send a secure message. And this is how you would go ahead and do that. And I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next example. The last example that I want to show you for this is going to be when you're setting up a workflow or automation, because that's another way that you can use it as well. And so what we're going to do is go to workflows, and I already have a workflow that has email already attached to it. So I am going to use that. Here you see there's an email already here. And now I'm just going to, just so that you see if you wanted to just change out what you had and just make it a little bit different, we're just going to go ahead and copy the text that's here. And then we're going to say write using AI, and we're going to draft a new email. And then we're going to put that we want the message to include this. I remember how I told you that you do have the option to make it a certain number of characters. We can say that we're going to say that we don't want this email to exceed, let's say, 300 characters. And we want this tone to be friendly. So here we are, and it went ahead and it took what we gave it, and then it added more information to it, and it's supposed to be less than 3 or not more than 300 characters. And then we can go ahead and insert it here, and it took out what we had previously and inserted it instead with the information that we got right from Nova AI. And there you have it. So and that's going to be some of the ways that you can actually utilize the Nova AI feature inside of Lawcus. I'm curious now to know, are you currently utilizing this feature within your practice? And if you are, what are some things that you found to be helpful utilizing the Nova AI feature? Was there anything that you wish that would be different? Did I cover any of the pain points or the cons here today, or is there another con that I didn't cover? I would love to hear your thoughts on the program and what you think about the features so far. Feel free to leave a comment below. Alright guys, so that is actually going to be it for everything that I want to show you in this video when it comes to the features utilizing Nova AI. I hope you found this video helpful. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel so that you can remain in the loop on all videos that I am going to be creating through the channel. I post videos weekly every Thursday, so definitely check it out and subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions or you want to focus on something specific, definitely feel free to get in touch with me. I provided access to book a complimentary consultation utilizing the link below in the bio. And until the next video, have an amazing day and continue thriving with your systems.